Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey guys, brand new podcast.
Hey, wait a minute. It's my podcast.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Enjoy. I know it is a crazy room, right?
It's incredible.
It's really been great because, you know, when we first moved in here, Berts was like, I'm going to start a podcast. And nobody really knew what that was. That was 8 years ago. And I was like, that sounds like the dumbest. Who is going to listen to that? That is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. And he's like, no, I'll just have people come over to the man cave. And he had like handheld mics and a little Zoom recorder next to him. And he just started doing it, right? In this room. So this room was a gift in that it's an amazing room, but it was also a gift because it started a second career for him that's become, you know, really important in putting in people going to live shows and being able to promote him in other arenas. The podcast has been incredible. It's been a really good like passion project for him too,
right? That
he can do at home. So
exactly.
So this room, the man cave, was really a much larger gift than just a beautiful room. It was inspiring.
I just discovered podcasts.
You did?
Yeah, I've been way behind.
Well, what are you listening to? I mean, besides Wife of the Party.
There's one called The Daily, and it's the New York Times does a daily thing that I listen to and makes me feel very smart.
Oh, that's good.
When I quote things. Who can start their day without Oprah's Soul Sunday?
Oh, I don't know either of these.
Oh my gosh. No, I every now and then I listen to
I never listened to a podcast before.
No, you've never listened to one? Not even one of the you've been on?
I hate listening to myself.
Yeah, I don't listen to myself either. I've listened to one episode of Wife of the Party, and it was because we were doing a follow-up about it.
Right.
So I wanted to remember what we had talked about.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't listen to them either. I listen to Hidden Brain, which is an NPR podcast about the function of the brain.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool, and they're really short. They're like 30 minutes.
Right.
Maybe 45. And I listen to, sometimes I listen to some WTFs with Mark Maron. Sometimes it depends on who his guest is. In the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of his podcast because he just rambled and rambled and rambled. But I think he's gotten better as he's gotten. I mean, he's super good at it. Clearly,
that's really interesting. It's turned into an art form, hasn't it?
It has turned into an art form, and I think it is. It's really fascinating right now watching Bert in his career and what's happening relative to podcasts with stand up. I can't really speak to any other part of the industry, but for stand up specifically. Social media has become so important to selling tickets that and Bert is so good at social media that, you know, comics who aren't good at it are falling behind,
right,
and really don't know what to do. And they're like, well, the model that's worked forever is no longer working. Is because there's no podcast, there's no outreach on social media, or the outreach is not authentic. You know, it's like, come see me in Irvine, and that's kind of it. There's no. People are looking for a more personal connection. I think that's true even with other podcasts. People are looking to either learn or to feel like they're part of a community. Like you think about Joe Rogan has millions of downloads per episode. And I think it's because people are looking for a community. And there's no community in life in general now much. I mean, we have a great community in this where we live.
Right. No, I think that's really true. I think that's such a great point. The thing I love about it too is that it like cuts through all the BS. Like you get right to the heart of what you're talking. There's no need for, or it's just edited out, any pleasantries.
Right.
Or BS.
Right.
You know, you can just get straight to a meaningful subject.
That's right. You mean in a podcast? Yeah, it's just really streamlined. It is. You know, something I was thinking about what we were going to talk about today, and I've been getting these emails. One of them I forwarded to Sandy that where people are saying they have a hard time as adults making new friends. And people are feeling really lonely. And when I started this podcast, one of the things I thought of was like, I'd been listening to all these learning podcasts so much that I thought I want a podcast where I just feel like I'm listening to some cool people talk about whatever. And that's funny and fun and entertaining.
It's like eavesdropping in the restaurant.
Exactly. And one day we talk about our vagina, and the next day we talk about I have chickens in my backyard, and it's just kind of random. But in this neighborhood, there are so many wonderful women and people, but women that I'm friends with, that we always have great conversations. So I was like, I wonder if I do a podcast where we just have conversations, that I would like to listen to that. And the response has been very much that. I would like to listen to that. I just want to, I feel like every Thursday when your podcast drops, my friends are showing up, and my friends and I are having coffee, and I get to listen to this conversation that I would like to have in my life.
Right.
But I don't have those conversations in my life. And I wonder, what do you think about that? I mean, do you think it's a lack of community? Do you think it's a fear of being seen for who you are? Because I know in our community, we had a common cause. We had a fundraiser at our elementary school, which is how I met all of our friends, was volunteerism. So that's a common cause. We're a common-minded people, and that we are all, volunteers and willing to sacrifice for the greater good. So what do you think? How do you think? What makes it easy or hard to make friends as an adult? A lot of dead air.
I don't know. I think it's a really important and complicated question. Actually, it is for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is it complicated for you? What do you mean?
Well, kind of also tying it in with social media that we were just talking about. There's so many, you even look at Facebook, it's called a friend.
Right.
There's so many ways to think you are friends. I'm not friends with any of those people on Facebook.
Right.
And I if I wanted to be their friend, I would be their friend.
Right.
But so it's this term that I think social media has turned into, I don't know, not genuine in a way, or not layered. And my friendships are just it for me. I'm very protective. I have my peeps. Yeah. And it is hard to break through that. Yeah. And it's been really interesting. And it's interesting you bring up school, because forever I never had to open myself up to friendships, to other friendships. But then you're at school and you're spending all of this time with these people. Right. And so it's very much like going back to high school. Yeah. And I felt very much like that. I felt exactly how I did in high school. Which was so traumatic. So I had 2 years of PTSD, which is why I couldn't talk to anybody. Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
You look good, babe. Bert just checked his outfit. He's got press today again. It's been a crazy week.
Go to Jack in the Box. That's so exciting.
Never.
Do you need to drive him?
No, I'll have to drive him. I have to drive him all the time anyway. Are you kidding? I got pregnant, literally. Found out we were pregnant, and literally he was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then turned the corner and went, designated driver. Yes. Every time. And I've been the designated driver since I got pregnant. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I may be driving him to rehab one day while hitting Jack in the Box, which is right here. So
exactly.
But anyway, you were traumatized by high school.
Oh my gosh.
You're not traumatized now.
Both.
Oh, no, both? No.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I don't leave my house. I really don't. I mean, if you think about it, I don't. Which is also why, you always see me in sweats. Because, why get dressed? I literally don't leave my home. I am so safe and happy in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you go to get a Diet Coke. Yes.
On the reg.
Which is my best friend.
On the reg.
Exactly.
You're cheating on Popeyes.
Exactly.
No.
It's
McDonald's today.
No. McDonald's is the old standard. It's
the gold standard. Right?
yes.
That's what I hear too.
Nothing.
There's
It's the
fountain
best.
drinks.
It's the best.
I wonder why. They just know the formula.
That formula, man.
The ice,
no one can
the-
touch
the
it.
ice-
And the texture of the cup, and and my friends there. I'm friends with them. I make friends with everybody at the
Are
drive-thru.
they in the circle?
No, I mean literally. I am I am literally. I feel so safe with them. Yes, they embrace me for who I am. I'm not joking. At the Popeyes, a woman, Camille was her name, invited me to her baby shower.
No way.
That is so.
But you know, it's interesting.
That's hysterical.
It's interesting because as soon as I realized that I was going a lot and I was creating these relationships with these people, it seemed like, and this is kind of going back to what we're talking about, they were so hungry for real interaction. They
Yeah.
were so touched that I would be like, how are you doing?
Yes.
Or, you know, my kid's crying and like, do you have kids? And then they just want to talk
Yes.
through the little screen in the window.
They want to be seen.
They want to be seen. And I feel creepy like saying they because
no,
I'm clearly
everybody.
yes.
They is everybody in this room.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, tying it back to your question, I think that's probably literally this podcast is now turned into Paula's therapy. I'm like on the couch.
Paula. No.
I don't even know what I was saying. Let's go back to high school. I mean, let's not because it was so
Yes.
traumatic, but
But why was high school traumatic? Was it about friendships and social?
yes.
Yeah.
All I wanted was that social, emotional.
Is that earthquake?
No, it's something. They're doing road work. Oh. Sorry, big vibration in the man cave.
I just wanted that acceptance so desperately.
And you didn't. Did you feel like you didn't have it, or did you really not have it?
That's a really good question, and I don't know the answer. I will say that in intermediate, excuse me, I just burped from the Diet Coke. Did you get that? There were 4 dances a year. My mom.
Why?
I know, terrifying, right? 4 dances a year. My mom would pick me up early on Fridays to take me to Bloomingdale's to pick out my outfit. You know, then I would put the hot rollers in. I'd clean my thick glasses.
Aw.
I'd figure out who I was going to go with. And I went. And so 4 times 3 is 12. And if you had a slow song 4 times, so that's 48. So there were 48 slow songs I was never asked to dance once.
Oh my God.
Yeah, never asked. And it got to a point where like I just knew I would be going to the bathroom at that time.
Aw,
or
Michael in the bathroom by himself.
So I think, and
That's
it was
really
the most
hard.
important to me. It was because just like I said, my friendships are so important to me. And so it's that social interaction. And I was really kind of denied it at a time when I really, really needed and wanted it.
Why? But why? Like, what was?
I think it was
going
my
on?
personality.
You think it was your personality? You know,
Yeah.
Were you? I mean, the why is: were you in the wrong environment for you? Were you in too large of a
I
school?
wasn't
Were you-
comfortable with who I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
who is though in high school? I guess some
I
people
know,
are.
right?
Some people are.
Yeah.
But
But then what was interesting was then when we started going to our school and why it turned into high school again is because I remember getting in the car and calling my very best friend from 7th grade. And I was like, it's all happening again.
oh no,
It's all happening again.
What dance are we talking about, Colfax? That you were not
The
invited.
fundraiser.
the social.
I was like, it's all happening again. I feel so misunderstood. I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
I'm like really loud and I'm obnoxious, but I'm not obnoxious.
See, but I get you. I get you from the
get you
beginning.
too.
I love.
See, so I
Paula.
guess that's what we bring to things, you know? We just bring all of those insecurities to what we do.
It's baggage, right?
I guess so.
And sometimes you think you've shaken the baggage, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation. You go, "Oh shit! I thought I ditched that bag like 20 years ago."
Right.
Because I've always thought you were just the most fun, funny,
Oh, no.
awesome. Yes, you are. You are fun and funny. No.
I mean,
Well, my
when I'm
impression-
home alone all day, I'm fantastic. Yeah, I'm
you're
hilarious
fun,
to
but
You don't
myself.
strike me as someone who's a loner. No, you're not a loner. Are you saying you are?
There's
No,
a
I could see you
big
as
part of
being
me that's alone.
Really?
a loner. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
You know why?
I really
I'll tell you
like-
why. We were working the fair together. You bounced from place to place all the time. You were helping this group, and you were helping this group, and you were helping this group. And I was like, okay, she's got to be on her own. Mm-hmm. Like, she can't be tied down to one place. She's got to be wherever she wants to be when she wants to be it. And you were amazing when you were doing it. So I was like, okay, she's just got to hop from place to place. I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's also like part of the Diet Coke thing too, I think.
Ah,
Is that it's like it's my security blanket.
right.
It's like you can get close to me, but this is really between me and my Diet Coke and Camille and my best friend Camille.
But so then let me ask you this. Your core of friends, are they from a long time ago, or did you make them as adults?
Yeah, sorry. I keep going into my therapy session.
No,
and you're
I love
talking.
therapy. I've been in therapy for
I do
years.
too. I love therapy. 20 years ago, I have 3 friends here in
LA.
LA. I have my very best friend from 7th grade.
In LA?
No.
Okay.
No. And then my sister is also one of my very closest friends, who's 8 years older than me and lives back in DC. And then I have a group here that's really, I have two best friends, and then a friend that I did meet as a mom. I think we have those friends.
Yeah.
Do you guys have friends from when your ones were really little and we were in the foxhole? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it was just tough when they were little. I have a couple friends that I met then that I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but it was so traumatic for me, like the first couple of years of my kids' lives.
Yeah.
That I really,
So why was it traumatic?
Connected.
Because I had a hard time too, a little bit.
oh my gosh.
Was it just the upheaval?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was, and the lack of sleep and the loneliness and I don't know. I just found
How did you meet those?
one was through a mommy group.
Okay.
And yeah, one was through a mommy group, and then another friend. It was just a group of friends. I was married before, and my whole life blew up. In 1999, and I had to start all over because I left the marriage, so I was the bad guy. So I lost all of those friends. So
that's hard.
Yeah. So I had to start from scratch. And luckily I found these 2 people, Ned and Liz, and they're my peeps.
Aw.
And
But it's easier to meet friends with kids.
yeah.
It's
Yes.
now, right? Do
Yeah.
Yes.
do you find that or no? Do you have the common thing,
Yes.
which is the kids?
Right.
Yeah.
So you can break the ice right there.
Yes. Yes. What do you think is the hardest thing then about finding friends as an adult? Is it the breaking of the ice? Is
I think I've become very picky with my friends. And I think it's all to what we're so busy with our lives, all of us, and our kids are like our common. Like right now, all my friends are what my kids hang out with. I don't have much time for my other friends. They come and go in our lives, and because I move around a lot, I have friends of many places,
Right.
and I have friends from where I grew up from. So it's every day. My core group, I don't really have like a core group except because with the kids, I like Leanne, and because that's what it's. I'm so busy with that. I think it's easier right now to find to meet people because you have kids.
Absolutely.
Because you have sports teams and
Yeah.
Music
And right,
lessons.
you have that thing, that commonality.
Right. That does make it easier. But you, Sandy, have friends, I swear to God, all over the world.
Literally,
That you've
all
had
over the world.
I do have a lot of
forever.
friends.
So my friend from Vietnam's going to spend 4th of July with us. I've known her forever.
I
and
have random friends, and
yeah.
I
But you keep them forever.
I keep
Yeah.
them.
So how do you do
Yeah,
that?
how do you do that?
I don't know. I could, I think friendship is real friends. You can pick up and leave, and I would not talk to them for 4 years or 5 years or maybe 10 years.
Right.
And then they'll show up. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" And then we'll just pick up where
Right.
I left off. It just, yeah. I've been very lucky meeting friends.
Yes.
And I always believe it's something to do with, I think, your last life.
Oh, yeah?
I really believe in that. And my mom always tells me, he's like, you're lucky. You have a lucky star that you meet people that are very good to you and very, I'm drawn to them. And there's a reason I'm drawn to certain people. And I don't know why. It's a connection. I believe there's a reason you and Paula and I are here today.
Right.
And we just somehow talked about it. And I get that sense when I meet someone that I'm like, okay, I think I can relate to her. There are people that you would try, and you know what? Even though like you see them every single day, but there is no connection there.
Yeah.
There is none.
Yeah.
Right.
And something I think it has to do with our past lives. You may be someone that's like, why would I meet somebody in London? And then, why them?
Right.
Why
do you keep them?
keep them?
Why do
And
they
why are
stay?
they in my
Yeah.
lives? There must be a reason they are in my life. And why do I run into certain people? And I would be really weird. I would be in some countries and I would run into friends that I'm like, what the heck are you doing here?
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, I think. It's a connection.
It's really exciting when that happens.
Yes.
It is.
It's
Yes.
so like,
Amazing.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
It's
cool.
almost spiritual.
It is.
Exactly.
That's what
I
you're
think it's
saying.
like a kind of a spiritual thing when you have friends.
Yeah.
And, same thing I think with the kids. Like, there's a reason they are my kids. And your kid is your kid.
Definitely.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
because I'm like, somehow something, and then their relationship in your life, you're like, why do I keep you as a friend? It must be like,
What's the purpose?
What's the purpose? Because
the
I must
lesson?
owe you some shit, like my last life, because there is something I'm doing for you, and you keep coming back.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird, but I've been very blessed with meeting people, meeting friends, meeting people that I like spending time with, and I think when I was like in my 20s. I have a bunch of like, some people would say, oh my God, it's so much drama too that comes with friendship sometimes. And I don't have patience for that. I don't have patience for that. I just think that
I don't
relationship should add to your life
Yep.
and should not take away. Because it's a very selfish way of thinking in a way, because you don't want to like, and I mean, not adding like adding money or adding like things. What
Enriching.
can you do?
It's enriching.
And what can
Yeah.
you do to my
Yeah,
life?
they enrich your life.
But it's like it should be a positive. It's like it should be happiness. It's like I can't. Sometimes you dread seeing someone. It's like oh my God, that is just like what now?
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah.
It should be more to like what's next. What's next? It's like,
Yeah.
so
that's
looking
nice.
forward to seeing you, looking forward. Because,
Have you ever had to break up with a friend?
yeah.
Yeah.
And once I do, I don't turn back.
I'm same. I've had to break up with a friend and I don't go back either. No can do.
No.
Once I'm at that place, I'm done. Done. And I personally am probably one of the most patient humans.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
going to say,
you
when
are.
do you get to a place
Oh,
like
I've got
that?
to a place.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. I was friends with someone, and I was in her wedding, and the happenings for the 18 months that I dealt with her wedding were out of this world.
Wow.
And so about 3 months before her wedding, I just was like, I need to tell you this. I will go forward in your wedding. I will do whatever you want me to do, or I'll step aside, but I can't continue a friendship as soon as your wedding day's over. So whatever you would like for me to do, I will do. I'll step aside, or I'll continue on, and I will be the most gracious person you've ever seen. But the minute you're married, I'm done. And
Wow.
you know, it had been months. At that point, it had been 15 months of a crazy bridezilla, and it just was more of the same. And I was at the place where and things had started before the bridezilla, that I was like, this is not okay, and I think I need to start separating. And then, you know, she asked me, I was actually her maid of honor. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and that's when I started going, this is not okay. And you know what was really interesting? It was a big, important lesson for me, because I was in therapy, and I was talking about her, and I kept saying to my therapist, I don't understand why I'm staying here in this relationship, because my brain is going, what are you doing every time I engage with her in this way? And my therapist said, I already knew this. She's your mom. And that's what you know love is. So until you understand love to be something different, you'll stay. And I went,
Wow.
done. I am done. That is not love.
Was it harder than breaking up with her boyfriend?
It was not.
Really?
It was not. No. I had no problem. I am one of those people too. Once I have learned, once I have clarity, when she said that statement, I went, got it. And that shit's stopping today. So I was able to go, all right, how do I get this over? Because I'm over now. Now I'm over. I will not allow myself to be in that kind of love relationship. I refuse. No. So how do I stop this? And I did, that was way before my, I can't be your maid of honor, because I felt like I didn't want to ruin her wedding. I didn't want her to feel badly, but we were at this place. We were at like a luncheon, and she was so horrible to me publicly that friends that were also at the luncheon were like, what is going on? This is really bad behavior on her part. And I was really embarrassed that I was being treated that way. It really made me look like the asshole to allow her. She'd been treating me that way for so long. And I was doing it for a long time to get her through her wedding. Seriously, I'm just going to get you through the wedding. But that lunch or brunch or shower or whatever it was the breaking point for me. And I was like, I can no longer look you in the face and lie to you. I'm lying to you by leading you to believe that this behavior is okay.
Did she try to amend the friendship?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Haven't heard from her again. I completely mistakenly fucked up her. I fucked something up really bad, and I really didn't mean to. We had planned, she wanted to have her bachelorette party like the Friday before her wedding, because all of her bridesmaids were coming from all over the U.S. So she loved to dance. She loved disco, 70s, 80s disco. And there was this place here called Oil Can Harry's that had great dancing, and I'd taken her there before. Well, apparently I got a limo, and I got us all ready to go to Oil Can Harry's, and we showed up, and it was gay country western night. And I was like, oh, fuck, she doesn't listen to country music, doesn't line dance, and literally it was all gay men.
Oh, love it.
And she was so angry at me, and I apologized. I was sincerely made. I was like, I have never known Oil Can Harry's to do anything but disco. I had no idea this gay country western night existed on like a Friday night.
We should go.
What the hell?
Sounds great.
And I was, I loved it. I had so much fun. I two-stepped my ass off with all these gay men. So, and none of her they all sat in the corner and were pissed, and I felt terrible. And I was like, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to a bar, and they would not. they just would not. So I was like, you know what? At this point, I really don't know what to do. All I can say is let's try to have fun. There's still a bar. We can still drink. We just ride around the city in a limo. I didn't do that on purpose. I really didn't.
Of course.
But I'm sure she thought I probably did because of that. So the next day was her wedding. I gave a beautiful speech, and I have never talked to her again. Wow. Crazy. So, yeah. Did you break up any friendships?
I did and I didn't. I did. I'm can be very codependent, and so which is just so horrible. It would have been. I just let it die a slow death, as opposed to just be like, look, this isn't working out. And so then that, and it was a bad idea.
Did it die, or is it still
finally?
Around like
literally,
fish?
I think. I mean, I don't want to say that I drove her to therapy, but her therapist figured out for her that maybe I wasn't a good friend to her, and for which I'm incredibly indebted. Oh. But I, which is just really shameful on my part.
But what was wrong?
It was really interesting. What I felt like we had so much in common. We had a similar humor. I'm also the type of person, I pride myself. I'm like a very good friend. That's like something that is like really important to me. And I have this I will give you the world. Mm-hmm. Like it's very easy, like maybe also to a non-healthy point, but like and if I like you, fine, done. Like you're in, I will give anything and everything. Very. And so I had done that with her, and she was very similar, and she had given me so much. And then I started to see priorities shift, and I started to see what would happen when I would say no. And so then I realized that the friendship was really based on me
giving
and always saying yes. And so then when I realized, it was really interesting. It was this one, a relative of hers was marrying into a very, very wealthy, prominent Hollywood family. Mm-hmm. And she became obsessed with her cousin marrying into this family. And she sent me like 5 emails this one night of the Valentino dress she was going to wear to her rehearsal dinner.
Oh my God.
And it was always something like we joked around about materialistic stuff or whatever. But then I was like, wow, we have nothing in common. Right. You know what I mean? Like if this is what you want to be obsessing about, and so then you just start noticing different patterns like that, and it's like, wow.
Right.
But it was the Valentino dress that sent me over the edge.
That broke you, huh?
Yeah. And then what's interesting, we'll leave it at that.
Are you sure?
Oh gosh. Her husband was a nightmare.
Oh no.
Yeah, and like,
well, we could say that about mine.
No, not in this way. He was like,
and that's always hard too with friendship too.
Yes,
with
it is.
like it's the spouse too, and you meet people and you meet in school, and you start seeing them out. It's like, okay, the kids get along. What about the parents? What are they like?
Right.
Yeah.
And
mom's good.
Mom's cool.
Yeah.
But then
meet
sometimes
the dad.
It's kind of creepy, or or there's something, and then you're like, okay, can we hang out? Because now it's all drop off. Before, when they're younger, you really have to sit through the party and hang out with them and find something to talk about.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, can I, get through a conversation with them? So you become very selective, right?
Yes,
there's
you do.
But there are a lot of variables too. The kids have to get along.
Yes,
they have to be the right age.
Yep.
Then the husbands, if you're going to graduate into like weekend hangout.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there are a lot of variables.
It's like a checklist.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It is kind of a checklist.
It is.
You know, I feel really lucky that my group of friends, all the spouses are all cohesive. Everybody
great.
gets along with. I mean, our two
You
families,
guys have like a really. You guys have like a. Like, is there 4 or 5 of you that's like a really cohesive group?
4 families. Yeah,
Yeah.
the campers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the campers are a cohesive group for sure.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Just
I
for
mean,
the
there's
most
one or
part.
two.
I mean, there's
Stephen
still
Franken
drama.
is really annoying. No, I'm joking. But
I mean,
no.
there's still drama
Yeah, there's
with
still
that,
drama.
you know.
There's still
within-
drama, but it's
that's life.
it's life.
Yes.
But it's not threatening drama. It's nobody's like, that's it. No more. You know, it's just
Right.
always, you know,
Right,
there's
right.
always something. I mean, I made a husband cry in my kitchen once.
Oh, dear.
I'll admit it.
Oh, dear.
Sandy saw it. You know, stuff's happened.
And you know,
but-
it's just different when you like form friendship in this age where we have kids, and then when you're in high school and when you're in college.
Yeah.
You just have like, you know, I still have those high school friends, and then I have college friends that I try to break off. There's one girl who is my roommate, and she starts stalking me.
Oof.
No.
Oh yeah,
Like legit?
kind of legit. We met in Holland, so I went to an exchange program like in Holland, and she was my roommate, assigned randomly. First impression, I walk in, and it was a dorm. It was an old hospital converted into a dorm because they didn't have enough space. So I walk in, it smelled like vomit.
Ugh.
She has vomited in like the sink. She got food poisoning.
Oh.
And then she's like, hi. I'm like, great. I'm your roommate. So that's just the start of it. That's the first impression. And then she like used my toothbrush. She used my
Oh,
She
weirdo.
become really weird.
That's creepy.
And she's obsessed about her hair. Like she has like
Was it the 80s?
her name
Just
is
kidding.
Nisha Patel. I can say she's like, hi, I'm Nisha, and she's like, I only like to travel 5 stars, and I only go visit in 5-star hotels. And I'm like, you're so annoying, because we were every weekend we would plan to where to go with our friends, and she's like, where are you guys going? Where are you guys going? And then there's always just one phone in the hallway.
Oh, right.
And we all have
Right.
to freaking share it. And Nisha was just like, it's mine. And we're like, we're all sharing. It may be not yours. She's always picking up the phone. And then she would there's one kitchen for us to share in the hallway. And the pots and pans, she would use it to wash her underwear.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
She's a
And
weirdo.
yes. And all of us were like, okay, can I talk to your roommate? And so I'll be getting that. So I got to know a lot of people.
But wait, how
because
did
of
you
my
clean
roommate.
these pots after she washed her underwear?
And
Would
we're
you
like,
boil water in
does
them or
Nisha
something?
have like
Why do you need a pot to wash your underwear?
I don't know. Sink,
she's
right?
weird. And then she also used, first she used the pot to boil the water so she can wash her hair, because the water was making her hair like really droopy because it has a lot of like, I don't
What?
fucking know. She was obsessed with her hair. She was so obsessed with her hair, she has to boil the water to wash her hair.
She's stupid.
And then use the pot.
Yeah, she's a
like, oh,
waste.
convenient. And she's like, I'll wash my underwear. And then I realized, I'm like, sorry, I just didn't just brush my teeth. Why is it wet?
oh, that's just awful.
Yeah. So I was like, Nisha, you've been using my toothbrush? She's like, yeah, I couldn't find mine.
What? That's so
No,
gross.
she was
Creepy.
such a creep. Then after I moved out, after the semester was over, and she'd be like, Sandy, I'm coming to your, she would wait for me after class.
Oh, boy.
Well, you know, Sandy,
And then I'm trying to break off. I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, God.
you have a certain energy about you, which is really engaging.
Yes.
And you draw people
And
to
people
you.
are drawn to you. Yes.
I'm married to someone similar to you, where people want to be friends with you without even knowing you, which is a really
Right.
great quality to have.
So true.
But she probably was just drawn to, I don't know, you are such a genuine person,
Mm-hmm.
and you are very giving, and when you listen, you really listen. And I think, back to what you said before, people want to be seen, and I don't think everybody listens. But you're a really good listener. So for some people, I think they're starved to be seen and to be heard, and you're really good at that.
Oh, thank you.
So
So well
she
said.
probably
Yes.
wanted that.
Oh, and
connection.
I have a similar situation, but not as bad. She's still a really good friend of mine. And when I moved on to things, she had a hard time.
Oh yeah.
When I met my husband, with Tom. You have a hard time because we're roommates, and we just went through a really strange kind of transition for our friendship. Mm-hmm. And I've become wary of that since, that relationship, because I feel like I shouldn't, it's like a codependent. Mm-hmm, we were codependent of each other. And then when one of us kind of wear off, to just went our own way, that other person just couldn't deal with it. And I feel really bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever get into the situation again.
Right.
To feel like, because it's sort of, it's not like abandonment, it sort of was.
It may feel that way. Yeah.
And I've never wanted to hurt her that way.
Of course.
Right.
And but she's still one of my really good friends. I just haven't seen her much.
Right.
We just went different directions, but she's one of my dearest friends. It's hard to break up friendship, and because there's you invested so much time and energy
and history
and history
feeling,
and feelings into it. And you can't just break up. It's
But life changes, especially when
Yeah.
you have kids. I have a few friends from before we had kids, and now that we have kids, they're just doing different things. They don't want to sit around when the kids were younger and watch our kids play, whereas I could hang out with you and we are both watching our kids play. So, there's and another thing that happens that's really hard too is, I think, this is going to sound so cold, and I don't mean it that way, but you're limited
Yes.
in your energy and in your
That
give,
sounds cold.
and in your like, hey, we're having a barbecue. Guess what? I can't invite everybody that we've always been friends with. So it's hard to say, because we have a pocket of friends, and I feel like some of these friends get really upset because they see on Instagram the campers.
Oh God, that is
barbecuing.
really hard.
And then you
That's
go,
one of-
well, do you really want to come to a barbecue with the campers and you? I mean, you
Right.
can.
Right.
But if I invite you, you're connected to this group and this
Right.
group and this
Right.
group and
Right.
this group. So now I kind of have to, I can't have 50 people at my house every time I have something. So then how do I balance that?
Yeah, that's hard
That's
too.
really hard, because
That's what Tom said. He has no friends because
Right.
he said, I hate those drama. He's like, that's why I just keep to myself. And because all that, and we don't have an Instagram account, we're not on Facebook, because it is drama. It is an issue
is.
because I've gotten in trouble too,
Yes.
myself, for not inviting. Especially when somebody broke, their divorce, they broke up, and it's like, oh, why did you invite, my ex and not me?
Right.
I'm like,
because that's
well,
freaking uncomfortable.
Maybe because
yeah,
he's more fun.
exactly.
Maybe because he's more better. I don't know.
He's not insane. I don't know. Just
it's just
a guess.
like, how do you justify? Like, how do you and when they see that, that's why I don't post anything. Like, oh yeah, I'm having fun.
That's just
Well, that's not the world I
But
live
that's
in.
how-
Bert posts everything.
Right.
He posts his morning
Oh,
dump.
right.
So I can't get away from that. But it is really hard because I carry the guilt. Because it's not that I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
are-
about it. I think about all those people I haven't invited, and I feel really bad. And then what do? Have a barbecue just for that group? I can do that. But then, my kids they don't have kids.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like we're in that phase. And I mean, I can name 5 or 6 people that I feel like are hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I still reach out to them and go to dinner and we go do stuff,
great.
but I
But
still
that's
feel
a lot,
so
but it's
guilty.
hard,
Really?
Yeah.
I do. I still feel really bad because I feel their feelings. I think I may be
You're
empathic.
such an empath. Yes.
So I just know that they're upset. Like I had a email last week from someone who was, I did have an idea that this was coming, but someone who was really profoundly upset. But I had spent an hour on the phone with the week before to make sure he felt cared for. But none of this was brought up the week before. So it just was like vomited in an email. So you go, well, you've been holding on to this for so long you could no longer contain it. So, and I'm inviting him to barbecues, and nope, don't want to come. So I was like, hey, something's
But Leanne
not right.
always get herself into that because she's very easy to get upset with. Like, you know, people would say, oh, not, I can tell her my feelings.
Yes.
Right?
So I
like,
get
so a lot of our friends
I get the shit.
and a lot of people just vomit on her because she just, you know.
I think because I am empathic.
That's really,
Yes.
that's such a gift, though. It really is.
to you, to everybody else. It's not a gift.
It's
to
always
me.
her.
Because
Like,
the problem is, I really care. Like,
Yes.
I really care that you gave me that information.
Yeah.
And I really care to help you. And I really care to...
none of us will get the information, but she will.
That's
because
I'm the
I
one...
guess I'm just a cold-hearted, like,
I
think
"Wow,
people
don't give a
are
shit."
afraid. I think
Again.
people want you to like them and to not see the underbelly that's sometimes not so pretty of us. They won't show you that because they want you to stay. Because I'm sure they sniff out that you're like, drama, see ya.
Yeah.
But I actually am that way too.
Just
but
like before we have get together where one party would get upset, but they would just tell Leanne. Never. I would never get that.
I'm the therapist.
So yeah, they always get upset with Leanne. It's like, yeah, everything is Leanne's fault.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait,
yes.
they get
Leanne's
upset
fault.
with you?
Sometimes they get upset with me because I'm the safe one.
Yes.
They won't get upset with Bert because
Never.
Bert's unsafe. 'Cause
Even
Bert's
though it's
just-
his fault.
It's his
It's
fault.
like
He
clearly.
did it.
Really?
And they'll go, but you, Leanne, but you didn't speak up. And I'm
So
like,
what do
but
you
wait,
say?
I didn't do anything. I
What do you
defend
say?
myself. I
Good.
say, no, I didn't do. That's not my fault. That has not to do
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
You're displacing onto me.
Good for you.
So put it over there. But it's still, I shouldn't have to deal with it at all. And then I'm sitting there with the fact that Bert has made someone upset, which Bert is
Yeah.
part of me. He's my team.
Right.
And then I go, well,
But
you
it's
gave it
always
to me
Leanne's fault.
because you're scared to give it to him. So now I got to deal with you. And now I got to help you deal with him. And now I got to help him deal with you.
Oh my gosh, this sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it is exhausting.
Yeah.
And it has happened more than once. It happens a lot. But whatever. I just think for whatever reason that's my role. In some ways. But you know what? That I've been like that since I was a child.
I was just going to say, just from your one comment about, and I don't know anything about your relationship with your mom, but just that one comment that you've shared, it makes sense that
right.
you're obviously an empath and you're obviously able to make people feel safe.
To share their
Which is-
Well, yeah, I think I do
vulnerability
that.
or like, you know, share their how they feel. And yes.
Well,
You
I really
always-
truly believe there are no wrong feelings. Maybe just misunderstood. Or maybe you misunderstand them yourself. You know, there's always a way out. Although I haven't really found a way out with my mom, but she's not well. So it's like playing with a different set of rules. But
And you're always very good in giving advice and very honest.
I am
Like
very
saying,
honest.
Yes.
And my mom used to say when I was a kid, if you want to know the truth, if you don't want to know the truth, do not ask Leanne. Because she will
Really?
tell you the truth. When I
Really?
was like 8 years old. So don't ask her if you don't want to really know the truth. Because she'll tell you. So I've always been that way, I guess. To be like, why would you do that? That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I don't understand your path. What is your reasoning? That doesn't make sense. But I don't know. That is part of being a friend, I
Yes.
think, in some ways, is to be the safe place so that the person that had the problem with Bert could really sort of work it out with me before he worked it out with Bert. So that's part of being in a network of friends, too, is understanding all the moving
Everyone's
parts.
roles.
And everyone's role and where the trouble's coming from, right? And who's going to be the solver of that issue, because it's sometimes different every time. You know, I think one thing I've learned growing older is that to be able to hold two things at one time is really important. So like saying, if Sandy comes to me and upsets me, I can hold that upset and still hold the fact that I love her and that I respect her and that I maybe don't understand what she's saying, or perhaps she doesn't understand me, to not deny that I'm upset, but to be able to hold both at the same time.
That is so impressive.
That's something I've been working on for a long time, because I live with a very emotional and reactive person. And I know sometimes the things he's reacting to are at an 11 when they're really a 3. So to be able to hold that he's at an 11 and to hold my place, this is really a 3 at the same time.
How do you deal with that? You smoke a lot of weed?
How do I do that?
It's like that is so
weed.
like, wow, balancing.
I go to
It's like,
fucking therapy every week.
Yeah.
Every week I show up at therapy. But I don't know, that I think to me that's the mark of grace and love, and to really love somebody. We were talking about this the other day with one of your daughters. She was talking about she gave somebody something and then they threw it away and that made her angry. Well, I think a gift isn't a gift if you're attached to what happens to it once you've released it.
Right.
Yes.
Right? If I've given you that Diet Coke and you throw it in the garbage and I'm mad at you for that, that wasn't a gift. There were strings attached to that gift.
By the way, she would never throw that.
I know.
It's
Bad example,
a security blanket.
If I mistakenly brought you a Diet Dr. Pepper and you threw it away, how dare she? She doesn't empath my ass. She doesn't understand anything. But I don't know. I just keep thinking how not generous it is to just hold your agenda. No, but I need to be listened to. But I want to go first. But I want this.
That says so much about you.
Oh yeah.
That says so much about you. You have such a strong sense of self then, because you are not taking any of it. You're not
Personal,
bringing to that table any of your own fears or your own issues. You're not bringing any of that to the table.
Well, I don't know if that's entirely true, but maybe partly. I've always had a really strong sense of self. My daughter Isla has a really strong sense of self. So watching her grow up going, that's okay. I understand why I had such problems with my mom, because I knew who I was from a very young age. And I had some time, like we all do in our 20s, where I was like, who the fuck am I?
Right.
But at the core, I really kind of always did. But I am afraid, I never had an example of an argument that didn't end in divorce. My mom's on her 6th divorce. My dad's had 2. So I didn't understand how you're married and then you fight and then you recover and then you continue. That did not happen. My mom would get married saying, well, if I just get upset with him, I'll just divorce. She'd say that before she got married. And I was like, I don't really want to run my show that way, but I don't really have an example of how to run it a different way. So in the beginning of my relationship with Bert, I was very scared to fight with him, to argue.
Because that meant it was
that meant
over.
We're leaving. It's ending. So it took me, and he was very good about this, because he's really good at seeing parents. His parents didn't fight all the time by any means, but they definitely fought and worked things out, and they're still married. So, he saw things being worked out. So he had kind of like, no, just because we fight doesn't mean it's over. It just means we're fighting. So he really helped me learn how to do that, how to kind of not be afraid of I knew what I needed and I knew how I felt, but I'd be afraid to say it, because if it was opposite or counter to what he was saying, then there's an inherent conflict, right? So I don't want to create the conflict, so I'll just eat it. But I know what I feel, and then it'll seep out in other ways. That's early in our relationship, it was like that. So as I've been married now for 15 years, I'm definitely much better about that. But I do have to let him talk first. I have to. I just know if I want to be heard, I have to first listen. So, and then I might get hurt.
You're great. You're a great listener. You are like probably one of the all my friends. You really do listen.
Oh, thank you.
That's so interesting, because you have both said that to each other.
I think we are really good friends. And I don't think we are friends just while our kids are young. I think we'll be friends after our kids are gone. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe Sandy feels differently. I don't know.
It's turning into an interesting podcast over here.
But I also love Tom very much. Tom's like, I jokingly say he's my brother from another mother, because we're very similar in some ways.
Yes.
Not in every way by any stretch, but in some kind of core ways we're really similar. And I understand Tom most of the time, and I don't think he's super easy to understand for the layman all the time. He's a great human being. He's one of the best human beings I know is Tom Hayslip. He's really, he's one of my favorite people ever. From the first time I met him, was Bert's 40th birthday, and it was supposed to rain. So, and we were borrowing their caichina, which is a big thing that you cook a pig in. Sandy was supposed to come. I barely knew Sandy, and Sandy was really sick. So she sent Tom over with the caichina, and he was like, okay, what can I do to help? And we had just bought this like 12 by 20 foot carport thing, like a tent.
Right.
That was in a box. And I was like, are you serious? You seriously want to help? He's like, oh yeah, you need to put this together? I said, yeah. He's like, okay, I just put one of these together in Africa. No problem. Boom, 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 boom. He puts it together, and I was like, I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Wow.
But I like this guy, not just because that he helped me, but because of the energy he brought to it.
Of course.
Right? He was back and forth all night. And I was like, he's a great guy. I mean, he helped me build my chicken coop. Just he had some downtime, and I was like, I gotta build this coop. Will you come help me? He's like, yeah, I'll come. Stayed the whole day.
They didn't talk
Wow.
at all.
Nope.
He just have his
we just
headset.
hand each other tools.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like heaven to me.
It was
wow.
awesome. Yeah. So I would hope that the four of us as adults will be really good friends after our kids are gone, because you and Bert are like brother and sister too.
Because we always joke around like who's Bert and who's Leanne in the relationship, like with all of us.
Right.
So I'm like definitely like Bert, and Tom and Leanne are like very similar to each other. So we're always like, who's gonna be like, Bert or Leanne, right? Is that the game we play?
Who's Bert? Who's Leanne?
Who's Leanne? One's the outgoing, one's like the keeps the family together.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do it all. I'm Leanne and Bert.
You're more of a combo. You are a combo. Yeah. But if the two of you are together, if you and Tom are together, you're Bert.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because Tom just does all the heavy lifting. He's comfortable there. He's comfortable working constantly, and then she can relax more. But if he's not there, she'll do all the work and everything. So she's a little bit of both. But she's a hybrid. Bert could never be a Sandy.
No, that he keeps saying like, "Oh God, it's so hard to feed the dog." He's like, "God, it's like, why? How does she do everything?"
Yeah, he can't. No, he couldn't function without me. There's no way. I don't know
There's
anybody.
no way.
There's no way. I don't know anybody that could be married to him but me.
Have you left your kids with Mike? Like for
like for a weekend or
for a weekend, not for weeks. Not for weeks. But he could figure it out. He could do it.
Now, is he a loner as well?
My gosh.
Or
he is such an introvert.
Is he really?
Really?
Oh, this is shocking. Yeah. I mean,
So both of you are?
Painfully. He is painful. I mean, that's where we're very similar. We're both real big homebodies, but I can be out there when I'm supposed to be and want to be. But he is very much an introvert, and
because you're the introvert, right, for the family.
I am an introvert, but I'm highly social. So I guess I read somewhere, I don't know, years ago, Bert and I would argue a lot because he wants to party 24 fucking 7. Like 4th of July was on Wednesday, and on Thursday I was like, let's have a down day, and he goes, wait a minute, wait, I thought the 4th of July was Wednesday to Sunday. And I went, no, it's not. But we partied Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
He got so upset.
He was so
really
mad.
Was so upset.
Because we weren't partying for 5 days straight.
And what does partying mean?
Barbecue at your house this day. Barbecue at your house the next day. Kids in the pool. Riding bikes to the park. Something as a group. This got to be a group activity, not just our
The
family.
text I got on Thursday was like, okay, Leanne is not want to party. Okay, who's in?
My wife
Sandy,
is a bitch.
Sandy,
Something like
yeah,
that. Right.
Leanne is like is a bitch. Like Sandy,
Leanne's being a bitch. Right.
Sandy, can I come over? Can I come? And Sandy, like anybody, is anybody awake? Is everybody fucking working?
Really?
Anyone? Anybody?
Group
Anybody?
text.
Everybody's
Who's up?
fucking working. No
Whose
one's
house can I go to?
responded.
Yeah.
Then he fucking calls me.
No.
He calls
Yeah.
me. He said, "I'm at Gelson. What can I bring over?"
No.
And I'm like,
Really?
I didn't invite
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He does it to all the campers. He'll just
I
go,
said, well,
so I'm
my
a gal-
friend, you know, Karen is coming over with her friend, and we're gonna cook something. But you're welcome to come. He just bring over a cheese platter. But that's
Oh
Bert.
my gosh.
He's got to be social all the time. So we were arguing years ago about this. And then I happened to read, I think it may have been even just a magazine article that said there are introverts and extroverts. And what determines that is how you recharge your battery.
Right.
So he recharges
Right.
by doing that. I recharge by being quiet and being by myself.
Right.
But then it broke it down even further where you could be a non-social introvert, which is probably what Mike is, or a social
is.
introvert, which is me.
Right.
I'm super social, but then like the Thursday after, by the way, we partied Tuesday before. We partied July 3rd and 4th. And July 4th was from like 10 a.m. all the way. So by Thursday, my battery needed charging. So I needed to be home and not do anything and not go anywhere so that I could recharge. So when I read this article, I made him stop what he was doing and read the article to him. And he went, oh my God, that makes total sense. You are a social introvert and I am a social extrovert. Because there can be non-social extroverts too, where they like to be with people, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a hoopla.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be what Bert is
Right.
doing.
Right.
So
That's
usually he's able to manage himself and say, my social introvert needs a day off. Got it. But for July 4th,
Oh God.
that was not possible. He just could not reel it in. He needed that Thursday. He was an asshole the whole day to me. He was mad at me because I wasn't partying that one day. And I was like, too fucking bad. Go party on your own. I am going to not get out of my pajamas until 3 o'clock. And I'm not going to worry about whatever you need. I'm just recharging. So yeah, he is like that. He calls Eric Grusin on his way home from the airport before calling me to see what we're doing that night. And then he'll call me and go,
And he's
"We're going
always
to
want to
Grusin's."
party on Monday. Monday is his day off. Monday's the hardest day to like do anything.
So he stopped allowing his manager to book him on Sundays so he can be home Sunday morning so he can party with all of us on Sunday night, which he feels is better than Monday night because no one's working.
Yeah, because no one. Like we're like,
Oh, you're joking.
No,
And when you say partying, like, are you drinking? Like, is he like?
I'm not.
But
But well,
is
I
he,
am
like-
sometimes. Yeah, he's drinking.
So is he like? But he can just pound them back and
Yeah.
be fine the next day.
Yeah.
because Leanne takes them all to school.
Exactly.
Leanne,
I
do
packs
all the
lunch.
heavy lifting.
Leanne does
I'm the
all
Tom
the-
Hayslip.
Yes.
No,
Wow.
Yeah, but Tom is an introvert. He does not. Is very much.
He's a little social.
A little, but it's because of me.
It's because of you. Yeah.
But he said that too. He said whatever. Yeah. We joke about this because Bert has FOMO.
Oh.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Big
stands
time?
for? Big time.
Yeah.
Chronic.
And yes, and my husband has phobia. Fear of being included. He's like
That's so
he's
funny.
He's always asked, he's like, do we have to go?
Right.
It is a have. If it's mandatory, like schools, sometimes there's functions that you have to go.
Right.
It's like a father and daughter
Yeah.
event.
Right,
You have
right.
to go, Tom.
Right.
It's like, do we really have to go?
But when he goes, he's fantastic.
Oh yes,
He's super
He's
open.
fine, but
That's
he
how
just
Mike
want
is. That's
Yeah.
how Mike is.
in even
Okay,
at
same
work
thing.
dinner, like he's there's birthdays and he's like, do I have to go? If it's the studio is coming, that means he has to come. Go. So those are like must
And is
have.
it hard for him when he
Oh,
does?
yes.
Yeah.
He hates it, but he's really good at it. He's
Right.
really social. Once he's out, once you get him out,
Right.
he's fine. But it's getting him there. I'm like, oh, do I have to go? Like,
Right,
is
right.
this like
That's how it is.
something? Is like it's always like dreading that whole thing.
So I know you have a hard out in about 10 minutes from now. So I wanted
Yeah.
to give us a little heads up that we have about 10 more minutes. But what do you think What do you value the most about your friends? This is a hard question.
Acceptance.
Acceptance. Because that is something you wanted when you were in high school.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then I'm wondering, do we value the most in our friends what we can't give ourselves?
Oh, very good question.
Yeah, that's a very,
Very good question. You know what I value? I was an only child, and clearly from the little bit I've said, didn't have the greatest relationships as a kid. I had one friend in 7th and 8th grade, Becky Wood, who I love to this day, love her to pieces. And that was the first time when she lived across the street from me. And my mom bought this house in a neighborhood, and she took me to see this house. We were moving, and the school bus pulled up across the street. This girl gets out. She yells across the street, "Hey, I'm Becky. What grade are you in?" I said 7th grade. She was like, "Me too. We're going to be best friends." Aww. And we were. I practically lived at her house. Her parents ended up in the middle of 8th grade moving. They built a new house and built me a room, and one asked if they could legally adopt me to move with them. And that was the first time I think I felt like I was chosen. That I was chosen to be part of something, you know what I mean? That someone chose me. I was never a good athlete. I never got chosen for teams. And until high school, I was not good socially. I was completely shut down and had no friends. I mean, my mom moved me to the middle of the gay community. She wasn't gay, but she thought, where would a 7-year-old girl be safe with a bunch of gay men? So there were no children in my neighborhood. I went to a private school that had 50 kids from kindergarten to 8th grade. There was no social outlet for me with children. So I didn't have this place except my dad's family where I was chosen. Like, you're going to be part of this group. And I feel like, I don't know that I feel chosen in the group that I've created now, but I definitely feel like I belong. Like I belong, like we belong to each other, sort of. That makes me feel good. And even with my husband, I feel like I have someone chose me and I belong. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I value that very much, and acceptance. I think I am exactly who I am with all my friends. I don't ever change. Actually, I don't really care about that. Now that I think about it, I don't care about acceptance because I've always been this way.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a feeling that I belong. That I'm seen and still loved.
Yeah.
Because I grew up being seen and not feeling loved.
Right.
Feeling like that was wrong. So
for me, I think it's having someone to lean on. Like always when you're feeling lonely, you can call your friend up and say that. And, or if you need something like, oh, can you help me with something? My friends will be there. And being there, like just, and just having it's sort of like family to me. Part of it, and sometimes family can't even be there for you, but friends can. You can always lean on them and say, can you give me a little help with this? I think I value that because I'm always, I guess, because Tom's always away that much. I really depend on my friends to kind of help me through. Depend on your friends to see a different situation, that you're not alone, that you're not alone dealing with this. And you're like, gosh, like now dealing with a tween, my daughter is like, I know I'm not alone. I know that I have friends that are dealing with that. Like, you like you said, having kids can be lonely, but I know that my friends will make me feel like I'm not lonely because it's not that. And it's also feeling that honesty. It's like, you know what? This is the truth. This is life.
right.
So I think that's what is really good about having friends. Sometimes they can just tell you, and you know, and they'll be honest with you. I think that's what for me is. It's good, kind of that honesty too.
Well, I think that's the only way you can have a really true friendship, is that if you have absolute honesty. Honesty doesn't have to be mean or hurtful or even painful, but to lie to someone is not good either. You know, you can't do that. You can't. How do you maintain a friendship if you're not transparent? Maybe is better. Just transparent to say, you know, this is how I feel. This is what I need. This is my opinion. If you ask it, I don't know. You know, I have a plaque in my kitchen that says, "Friends are the family you choose," and I really believe that my friends are my family, and I chose them. Definitely. So they're more precious in some ways. They're more precious than your family.
Right.
Well, Sandy, you know I love you.
Yeah.
You are just one of my soulmates, I swear. And I have always loved you, but I don't know you as well as I do Sandy. But you're such a great person, Paula. From the first time I met you, I thought, what a great person. That's a great human being right there.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
You are really.
I do. I feel very lucky that I've kind of been able to sit back and watch you guys interact and hear about how your families do, because it's really inspiring, because it sounds like you guys did find each other amidst children, and then you're able to keep that friendship through the tweening and through the crazy husbands and not so crazy husbands.
Right.
And
it is interesting. I think about Sandy a lot. The reason we're friends, as close as we are, I think, is because Isla and Kylie became really good friends. Isla and Kylie could not be more different now if we tried. I mean, she has a Brandy Melville Instagram running, selfie taking, sophisticated teenager who, you know, camps in the Hamptons and is a jet setter. And my girl is like into anime and wears oversized sweatshirts and has no idea what Kylie's talking about when she's talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
But they still enjoy each other's company. I don't even,
So great.
they still do. And sometimes I go, what the heck are they talking about? But I watch them and they make each other laugh and they still have a good time.
Yeah, they goof around. They, when they see each other, they push, and they just play and they just goof around, and they're still good friends. And I know that Kylie loves Isla.
They're like sisters.
She looks forward to hanging out with Isla.
Same.
And it's not like ever judging, you know.
Right.
And I think that's what friendships are.
And I think we are examples of that.
Yeah.
I don't care if you hang out with Paula.
Yes.
And
Right.
Isla doesn't care if Kylie hangs out with her friends from Immaculate Heart. I want you to hang out with Paula because Paula's amazing. Or Karen. Or whomever you choose to hang out with. I would never say, oh no.
But
You're just my friend.
But we have friends, as we all know, we have friends that don't like to share friends.
And there's no sharing. There's
and then
enough
it goes
for
back
everybody.
to the whole high school thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which
And
again
it's
is like,
just
I
like-
can't. I went through all of that in high school, and
Right.
There's
more.
enough for everybody. And if
There's so much.
If I'm not invited, if you invited her to a party and not me, I would not.
I'd be so happy.
If I wasn't invited, I'd be like, phew.
She'd be without me. Thank God I can go to a party without Leanne. Jesus. Drag her ass around all the time.
But Bert Kreischer may have a problem.
He would have a problem.
How come we're not invited? How come?
Right.
Why, Sandy? What do you mean? What do you mean? Everybody wants to hang out with me.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, you know, something I have to say to you. I've been meaning to tell you this for a long time, and I haven't. You have made me be more adventurous in my life. And I really appreciate that. Because, you know, you and
but
Bert
you still
do
haven't
these
eaten
things.
chicken feet yet. No,
I haven't eaten chicken feet. But between the food I would never have tried if I hadn't eaten with her. And the travel I never would have done if it had just been up to me and
isn't that
Bert.
great?
It has been a gift. The life experiences I've had because of you.
And
That's
too,
amazing.
I would
That's
never
wonderful.
imagine. Like, I mean, how would we ever cross a road without our kids?
And that's what's fascinating.
Ever.
She's
Yeah.
from like the
No, exactly.
Georgia.
Which is also what's really cool about living in LA.
Yes, it is.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
you just...
It's a melting pot, buddy.
Yep, yep.
And you can find your people. You just have to be patient and be open and be willing to accept them. I think a lot of people have a hard time with accepting, maybe like you said, themselves. So they have a hard time accepting that someone will love them for exactly who they are.
Yep.
Warts and all.
Yep.
You know, I feel like you love me for my warts and all.
Yes.
I don't think there's nothing I could say or do that I could think of that would make you go, well, I'm not hanging out with her anymore.
Right.
That accent.
Yeah,
Oh,
stupid
yeah.
accent. Papa J, all his
Do
quirks
what
and
now?
eccentricities. Do what now? Say what now? It's my dad.
I love her dad.
He's the best. He loves Sandy too. They came and stayed at my dad has a lake house in Alabama, and they came and stayed at the lake house, and we had so much
seen
fun.
Asian people before.
They'd never had sushi. They'd never.
Yes,
no,
we bought sushi.
no.
Tom bought sushi. And then
mean,
they're like,
Oh,
what's
you
that?
guys.
I grew up. My town has 1,800 people in it. That's my home where my dad still lives.
Wow.
I said, Leanne,
It's
are they going to
tiny.
be okay? Did you warn them that we're...
I did. I actually did.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. My friends are coming. Dad's Vietnamese and white. Mom's Chinese. Okay. So I just want you to know because you know.
He's like, the commies are coming.
Yes.
What do you call the Viet Cong?
Viet Cong, yes.
Viet Cong's on the way, and they brought Lei Lee.
Oh,
And you know,
my
Lei Lee,
God.
you can't even understand what she's saying on a good day. You know, so you see all these rednecks are going like, "What? Do what now?
Yeah,
do
and
what now?
they can't,
Say what
she
now?"
can't understand them.
No.
So I told her...
you guys, that is awesome.
Okay, I have this aunt who's a retired school teacher, Aunt Carol, and she stays at the lake with us the whole time because she's kind of like my substitute mom, right? She's a substitute grandmother for my kids on that side. And so Carol is there and Laylee's there. They're the same age. So they're trying to talk to each other and Carol's having a hard time understanding her. And Carol, even this summer when we were home, she was like, "How's Laylee?" And I told her and she said, "You know, it's very bizarre. She invited me to go on like the Freedom Trail and I didn't even know her. And then she invited me to come to her house in Thailand. I ain't never been to Thailand. I'm not going to Thailand. I don't even know this woman. Who is this woman? I can't understand anything she's saying." I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But they talked forever and then yeah, it was a great trip.
Let's just say that my kids loved it. They still they want to go back, and it's my husband Tom loved it. Loved every single minute of it.
It's
was
an
fun.
idea. I've always wanted to do this. I have this idea of like a reality show, or maybe it should be a podcast or something, where you take people from completely different backgrounds, and because easily within an hour or half hour, they will find a connection.
I agree.
And I just feel like that is such an overlook, especially in today's day.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a underutilized part of our human experience.
I agree.
Is to connect with people that are so, I mean, that's like a great, like, I wish I had been there to see that.
It was hysterical.
It just seems amazing
And when the sushi
wonderful.
came, it was hysterical.
The sushi and
sushi because my
sushi at the lake
cousins
house.
were all like looking around,
that is awesome.
wrinkled nose, and they'd try one. They go, "Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good."
Really?
So they ended up eating all this sushi they'd never.
Because what happened was Tom was shooting in Georgia, in Fayetteville, and they have craft service, and then
Right.
they have catering, and then we have to go pick up the girls, and then he have the caterer they had sushi that day, so he said, "Okay, can you wrap up like about 7 containers of sushi, all different ones?" And so we put it in a cooler, and we drove like 3 hours, right? Is it from
It's 2 hours.
2 hours from Fayetteville to Bowden, Wedowee, and we showed up with sushi, and they're like,
That is awesome.
all these rednecks,
yes, they
couple of
have
mullets,
Yeah.
one or two with no
Really?
teeth. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
they have guns. They all have guns. Like we went
We
floated.
We float the river. There's
Sushis
a
and
river
guns.
that we float, and they floated with us. And all my cousins are, they wear guns and holsters all the time.
Sushi and guns.
yes, and
know.
they would ask me questions. I said,
No idea
yeah.
what they're saying.
I said, yeah, I had a great time. He said, that's not what I asked you.
They got real thick and talk like it's a lot like this right here, and then you go, I ain't got no idea what you're talking about.
I'm
how
like,
they
yeah, I
sound.
had a great time. He said, dang, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That ain't what I asked you.
Wow.
Here's what I asked you. Leanne,
See?
ask her this. That's what was happening. I was like,
Yes,
what he said was this. Okay. And then she would answer him, and then he'd say something
Her
else, and
dad-
she'd look at me and go,
her dad
what?
was, I would to say to him, and he's like, "Say what now?
Say what now? Do what now? Hey, Daddy, can you take the garbage out? Do what now?
Oh.
Do what? It's so awesome. I love going back there every summer.
I bet.
You know, I spent the whole summer with my dad every summer. My parents were divorced. So these are the people I spent every day with. These Chris and Keith and my cousins, Wade, every day I was with them. And they're just the best good old boys you've ever seen. But, you know, you're talking about that, everybody having a common place. I was, during the elections, I saw this little piece, somebody did on the news, where they took a, quote, lost dog, like someone in a Trump shirt took a, quote, lost dog to a Hillary rally, and everyone helped them. And then they did the opposite. Someone wearing a Hillary shirt went to a Trump rally with a lost dog, and everyone helped them.
Aww.
And you go, why can't we find that everywhere?
Right.
Everybody's willing to help a lost dog. Why can't everybody be willing to help the homeless, and everybody be willing to invest in education, or find some way that we can come together and be friends? Look how we brought it all back to friends. Thank you, ladies, for talking today.
Thank you.
It was really fun. Will you come back again, Paula?
Anytime. Absolutely.
And I hope Sandy will come back again. This is like your third one, yeah. I love talking to you guys. I have the best friends. I swear to God, I am so, so grateful. I just am humbled and grateful by my life. So
that's how I feel being here, humbled and grateful. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out of your shell.
I know.
With my Diet Coke.
I can provide you with Diet Coke next time.
Well, no, it has to be. It has to be from my friend Camille.
Well, she's already done, like, today, this is really nice and cool here. Right?
You mean in this room?
Is it not usual?
But last time it was
We were
so
so
hot.
Well, we can talk about this after. Thanks, guys, for listening.
welcome.
Thank you.